Piano Man, final version. What? We think it's the final version. Stay tuned. You'll see. As I think it's the final version. Let's go post this link on our website. Our website is jollyrogerukulele.com. And yesterday we played the lead sheet to Piano Man, and I was going to let that sit for the week. But I decided last night, well, really this morning, I was like, this is not very playable, Gary. And so I went ahead and rewrote it a tiny bit. And so only seems fair just to give you the full version. And then we'll talk about what I did. What did you do, Gary? To get it more playable, to make it sound more like the song, to make it more fun. And get a little closer to what Billy Joel really meant. Update. Let's make sure the link is working properly. Scroll down. Piano Man. Wednesday, right? Yeah, 7/14. Doesn't say Wednesday anymore. We don't always have that on there. Let's see. Piano Man. Okay, final version. Yep. All right. Link works. Billy Joel and Piano Man, final version HTT. Can you imagine if somebody was searching Twitter for Billy Joel's Piano Man on a ukulele? They'd be like, oh my god, you have to be kidding me. Alright, there's that. And let's put the photo on it. And tweet. There we go. Alright, nice. I'm not 1,000% sure what we're doing tomorrow, by the way, so we'll see. Sandy's in. Thunder and lightning up there. 67 degrees in Michigan. Looks pretty good. Vic in Eugene. She says the sound is working. Vic is my sound engineer, and we have many challenges over the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. No, it's not almost 2 years. Year and a half. When the sound didn't work right, and you're like, what the heck is going on? All right, let me go get onto the right website here, and we'll upload the latest and greatest in Billy Joel. Scroll. Billy Joel, Piano Man, ukulele. And I'm actually pretty pleased overall with the final result here. It's not a couple of plays where I'm like, I don't know, that's good enough, sort of thing. You know, when you're writing, and you're just like, close enough, right? I don't have too many of those in here. I think every song has a little bit of that, but this one came together pretty well. That doesn't seem right. So that's the ukulele version. Where's the P's? Where is P coming out here? Piano Man, ukulele, right? And then Piano Man, baritone. Okay, we're fine. We'll work on the ukulele one, of course. Those of you with baritones, know that I don't neglect you on purpose. Most everybody who joins has a ukulele, right? And so it's easier just to teach it on ukulele, and that way everybody can play in. Those of you with baritones, I don't. For the most part, nobody. There are a few people, but very few people own just a baritone. And so I know if you learn the lesson on your ukulele, you can apply the exact same technique to your baritone. So what I really teach the baritone for is to get the ukulele players used to playing along with chords, right? And so, because that's definitely one of the things I'm weak at, is teaching you to play chords. Mostly because I don't believe in it as an activity, but you do need to know how to do it, and so that's why it's better to teach it on ukulele and then play it just outright on baritone. Let's see. I talked to Sandy, Ronnie again. Sound and video are good. Thanks, Terry. Terry's here 2 days in a row. What the heck? Ukulele Man. I know we should change it to Ukulele Man. Kat's in. Hey, Kat. Good to see you. Ukulele in from Massachusetts. Thunderstorm just coming in. Look at all of us getting a little rain. That's nice. Sunny and warm down in Texas. No rain down there right yet. Robin is in. Robin's buying all the instruments. She told us in the previous hour. Janice is back for more punishment. Love the temperature in Denver. Bring on the rain. Yeah, it's about 75 right now. Kind of cloudy and overcast. A tiny bit smoky. And we're looking at getting some rain this afternoon. We're hoping anyway. The little weather chart shows a little orange bubble going right over to the top of Denver. We'll see if it happens. Let's see. Rita's in from Illinois. Michelle from Rockaway Beach. Nancy in from SoCal, from Florida. Tell me more about why it didn't work and how you fixed it, please. I will tell you, Nancy. Thanks for asking. All right. Diane, welcome. Waiting for the rain. Diane in from Pueblo, checking in for Piano Man. Glad you're here for Piano Man. Linda in from Vancouver, 77. This works for me. Good. And Red made it back. She decided to take a vacation, so we haven't had to give her any noise for a while. So, Red, here's to you. That button lasts way too long. Pam is in. Looking forward to Piano Man. Good. And last night's first meeting of our Hawaiian group was great. 6 of 3 are in. 6 of us 3 are. Oh, is that right? Ukulele? How funny! The guy got a bunch of actual Hawaiians getting together. Yeah, good. I mean, it's exciting, right? We're able to get the ukulele groups back together. I noticed our local ukulele group here, they're going to meet in somebody's backyard this coming Saturday. So it's, things are breaking loose. I hope that all y'all, we've stopped talking about it, but I hope all y'all have been serious about getting your vaccine. It just seems crazy not to. So yeah, so let's talk about some things I did to make this more playable. And that's what you should name the group, the 50% Hawaiian ukulele strummers. And then you have to check everybody's DNA sample before you let them in, right? You got any Hawaiian in you? Okay, you're good. Come on in. You remember yesterday I had this this challenging section, the major 7, 8, and 9 up on the 5th fret. It turned out that I'm not going to be able to play that anytime soon, and if I can't play it anytime soon, we have to change it, because I have to be able to sit down with this sheet music and play it relatively without a lot of practice, because you guys have seen what I do, right? I write it and then we play it, and then I write it something else and we play it, and then about 6-8 months later I go back and I have to replay something that I wrote 6 months ago, and it better be something that makes sense pretty easily. So it's what I did. Instead of having a high-pitched run, we're just going in a standard position run. Changes the melody a teeny bit, but because it is an arpeggio pattern, it doesn't really change the melody. It just changes the way you're attacking the arpeggio. So instead of having a high F run, we're going to have a low F run, and it'll sound just the same. It won't sound just the same, but it will be much easier to play, and I think that you'll actually enjoy the tone of it a little bit better. So anytime you get a point in a music, and I run into this almost every time I'm arranging something, you reach a point on ukulele where the notes go too high or too low, and then you start having to problem solve around that. And that will happen to you, as you guys, those of you who are interested in arranging, you will find out very quickly. So much stuff does not fit onto we only have about 10 notes that are really usable. Let's call it an octave and a half total of really usable notes, and you've got to fit songs into that, and many songs are much bigger than that. Piano players don't run into this problem, right? Because typically on piano you have this octave and this octave and that octave and that octave. That's 4 octaves. And then in addition to that, you got 2 more octaves over there and 2 more octaves over there. So you're never going to run out of notes on piano. And that's why a lot of times when you're when you're creating a piece of ukulele music from a piano piece, you're going to end up making some changes to it. And you need to know that right up front, and you need to be okay with that. And so your goal is to create something that's playable, that still sounds good, and still captures the essence of what the song is about. Elizabeth made it in. We were chasing a white chicken in our backyard. Policeman caught it, handed it over to the fence. Here's what happens in northern Colorado. them's real Western people up there. They don't want to be tread on. 2, they have chickens, and 3, if your chicken gets out, you can call the police and they'll come over and help you catch it. That's funny, Elizabeth. All right. Oh my gosh. Let's see. All right, Piano Man. Let's just play the first 6 measures, and then we'll talk about measure 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So first 6 measures. 1, 2, 3. So that part makes sense. Sounds exactly like what he does as his intro. And then here's the part where I think you may want to think about. You can do it claw or you can do it thumb, and so you're going to be thinking about what's going to be easier for you and also which sounds better to you. But all I did, same exact chords, I just moved them down here into the open position, and they're much easier to play. Okay, so play with me. Plum, 01, 03. B flat, F7, and then those B chunk chords. And then we repeat the same idea. Everything's the same. Go. I put a fermata over that. Fermata may be a bit much, but you definitely want to make that second note in measure 14 a little longer. Maybe not a lot longer, but you want to give it an emphasis. Definitely, at the very minimum, give it a full quarter note value. Let the thing run, and then I think that will give you enough time to prepare your audience to hear the transition into the main song. Pam says, I chase chickens some nights, but they belong to me. One of these days, I might have mentioned this before, when I was a little boy growing up in the suburbs of Denver, my mom married a guy from out in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, and not just in the middle of nowhere, but the exact dead center of nowhere in Kansas. And we used to have to go down there on a regular basis. And when you are a little kid and you visit a farm, you are not a visitor. You're not a guest. You are labor. And one of my jobs when I would go down there was to clean the chicken coops. And this guy had gigantic, huge chicken coops. And chickens are mean, and they poke at you and they peck you, and then you have to try to get their eggs, and they bite you, and they smell, and they're and they're just awful. And so I got a really healthy dislike for chickens at an early age, and that's why I don't mind eating them now. All right, let's play that intro one more time. There, I've revealed one of my inner demons. From the top, 1, 2, 3. It's going to sound just like the song. I would still say that intro is going to require your attention, and you're probably going to want to just go ahead and memorize that little run between 7 and 9, because it's going to come out a few more times in the song, and it's just going to be easier that you can look at your ukulele and do it rather than looking at the sheet music. All right, from the pickup to measure 15, 1, 2. here's the high part. I went ahead and left it in. I deleted one measure in here that was not doing any work, and I think it got better. Okay, so grab your high D minor. That's a bar on 5, ring on 7. Strum that, and then hit the 5 again, and strum again. Pinky to 7 and 8, and then bring it back under. That's the hard motion there, is to go. You got your D minor. Hey, it's raining. We got D minor, pinky on 7, 8, and back to 7. And that second time you hit the 7, you got to get everybody out of the way. So your pinky's got to tuck under there. Some of you will find that super challenging. I find it plenty challenging to get to still keep this note clear, my ring note clear, with my pinky. If you can't do it, just get your ring out of the way and put your pinky there, and then just don't play the top string. You could probably even play the top string, honestly. Yeah, okay? So if I don't play that top string, what I end up with is... Okay, that works. If I hit the top string but don't hold it down, I get... which is close enough, right? There's a little bit of a funky sound in there. And then if you can, use your ring finger, and then you play it just as written. I'm sorry. And then you're at 52, go to your B flat on 5. And then right there, reach around, grab your G7. When you hit that 8, you got to just leave it there for a second while you rearrange all your fingers to get your high G7 on. Pull back your pinky, and then let that ring for a second, and then you go on with the song. And you can hear that C7 kicking you off into the next page. Grab measure 60, and we're back to the main idea in the song. That moment to 4 times, right? I am going to end up making one change. I played it over and over, and it sounded fine the way it's written, but then I keep wanting it to be a different note. So I'm going to change one note on here. So don't, if you haven't printed out today's copy, don't, because I am going to change this one note, and I think there's another chord in here. I don't necessarily think, I think I can improve it. So anyway, that's the whole song. We will do the outro. I will tell you, the 4th time you come through and you're at 74, 75, 76, you skip 77 and you do the 4th ending. I have found it really pretty to slow that down quite a lot and then go right back to the tempo. So let me show you what I'm talking about. At 74, go to 74 and we'll just play it. So at 78, just really slow it down, and at 79, then pick it right back up. Whoops. All right, done, turn. this is kind of cool. This G minor 7 that shows, is the only place that shows up in the whole song. It's super cool when you hit that. So get your B flat, F chord, G minor 7, what? F, and then high F. Okay, so it's actually super cool piece of music. I'm going to change one note in measure 69, and so measure 69, if you just want to handwrite it, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and change it on paper and repost. The last note in 69, I want it to be an A rather than a B flat, and so it will end up sounding like, all in the mood for a melody. I'm also going to change those D minors that keep showing up with the 1 1 2 2. They're right, but they're too harsh on ukulele, so I'm probably going to switch them all out to B flats, and I think it'll sound a little bit. It'll just sound a little more put together that way. So I think we're pretty close here, guys. Like I say, I'm gonna repost one more time. So I put final and question mark on there just because I wasn't 100% sure. Now that I'm playing it in front of you, I'm realizing those things I had questions about there are reasons I had questions about it. So let's grab the baritone version, and you'll play along with me while we make sure I got all of the last little bits and pieces here. But I think we got it. I think we got it with one note and one chord change, and I think we'll be in business. Robin says, my dad was scared of birds for his entire life because of being chased by chickens when he was young. Yeah, you and your dad and I. Here's to your dad. He knows what's going on. Yeah, a lot of people grew up with chickens, right? And you notice people who get chickens are always like suburban people who grew up in sheltered environments. They're like, oh, we could get chickens and then we'll get free eggs. And you're like, that's not at all how this works. Cold, moist weather is making the instrument freak out. All right, here we go. Baritones. Ukulele players, these are all your chords. You should be able to play right along with it. 1, 2, 3. think it's going to work, right? I think it's going to work. Like I said, I'm going to change out the D minors in here for the most part aren't doing enough work, and so I'm going to change those out to B flats. I'm going to change that one melody note out in major 69, and then we'll have it. Okay, and so play through it a few times tonight. Make sure that you don't see any mistakes. I'm put Lynn in charge of always copy reading the text. I think I got all the typos out. It's a really long song if you play the whole thing. So if you play all 4 verses, you will be really, really sick of Billy Joel by the end. And do know that the verses are the melody line there is set up for verse number 1, and then so all the other verses you sometimes have to make adjustments. So if you get to measure 23, it's set up for there's an old man sitting next to me. That's what's set up on the tablature. But the second line is, and he's quick with a joke or to light up your smoke. And that's the same exact thing, right? So you have to, theoretically, you would know that as an instrumentalist, and you would put in, instead of 333310101, you would put in 33333310101. So you'd be thinking about that. Whether you pull it off or not is never important, especially if you have a singer around. You let them take care of all that nonsense. And probably if you have a singer, you're not playing those lines anyway. You're probably coming up with something really beautiful with the chord approach. So there we go. Hope that's a fun piece for you. Hopefully that's worth the work we're putting into it. And hopefully that explains the entire issue I have with chickens. And there we are. Let's see. Measure 58. Should that be 3? Measure 58. 58. Should that be 2003? 3. It's an E minor. Here's why. Great question. I can see why you're thinking that way, because that's how it happens several places else in the song. But what I'm trying to do there is create this descending bass line like he does on his piano. Bum, 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 bum. We don't have those notes, right? Bum, 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 bum. So we have to kind of make it up. So we're coming into dum, da, dum, da, da, dum, dee, 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 da, 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 da. Put the 1 on there to create the measure 59. We're creating the tension to drop you back into the main idea. But what I'm really working on there, I understand the question, and the answer is no, I wouldn't do that. The answer is, and you can hear that, right? You can hear that descending bass line. That's what's really going on. Is you just bum, 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 but we don't have bass on ukulele, so we have to make it up a little bit with the chord shapes, and hopefully, and so that's why there's not a 2003 there. Exactly, it's a great question. It's a good eye too, by the way. Vic, so we should only chase our own chickens. Vic's like, all right, so let me get this straight on chickens. No, you should eat chickens from the grocery store that somebody else chased. That's what you should do. That's the takeaway on chickens. Yes. Or I don't know. That's enough on chickens. Diane, this like this one better today. Yeah, yesterday it was still a little rough, and I apologize. With modern music, it's so interesting because the tools and techniques I use for all of my for that generally work for everything. You get into these things where we have some history and some experience with. We really need them to sound a certain way, and it's a little bit challenging to fit Billy Joel onto the few notes that we have. And so sometimes I goof up. Kat says, never have been a big Billy Joel fan, too frat boyish for me, but this is giving me a new appreciation. I like it. I would say of all of the musicians we're going to study, I'm going to put Billy Joel pretty far down the list in terms of guys that I really want to emulate, right? So, but But yeah, this is a good song. I mean, let's be honest, it's pretty cool what he pulled off on this one. So we don't have to think much of him, but we can like his song, right? There's a lot of composers out there that I don't like at all, but we still study their music. The repeats note on top left corner is 078. Oh, I lost a measure. Yeah, so let me fix that. Good eye. Thank you. Who told me that? Ronnie. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. Yeah, because I did delete a measure in the dum dee dums that was not doing its job, and so the measure 69. Yeah, 69. I gotta change this note here. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. I will adjust that repeat block. Thank you. Elizabeth, this has always been a favorite. Oh, really? Good. That's good. I do know. Like I said, I'm not a huge Billy Joel fan, but I do like this song. I really do. I'm like, this is. It gives you a whole feeling of this moment in time, and it's a little bit self-serving. With I'm a piano man. I don't look at how fancy I am, but I do think it's a good song. All right, thanks, Jess. Yeah, a little easier to play. We'll get it cleaned up tomorrow, and so we'll do it one more time tomorrow, and then we'll look at whatever day of the week it is and figure out what's the next step. So we will play this again tomorrow. Pam, thanks. Totally makes sense. Okay, good. Nancy, great lesson. You're welcome. Thanks, Nancy. Q, sitting in, practicing fingering chords while you play melody. That's what you should be doing, right? Good job, Q. Thanks. You're welcome, Ronnie. Robin, oh yeah, hit the thumbs up if you haven't done that yet. Nancy, I find that. Isn't it fun? It's interesting. The problem areas become the most interesting for us as musicians. When you first start playing ukulele, you're like, oh gosh, I hope there's no problem areas. But as you get a little more confident, you're like, yeah, throw this tough stuff at me. I want to figure it out. So cool. Terry, good to see you, bud. Michelle, thanks for being here. I'm going to pull the plug. I'm going to go play some harmonica. I will see all y'all mañana.